Hey, church family, wanted to take this opportunity to present you with another word of encouragement as we continue to pray for this coming election. Now, you might not know this, but early voting ends today here in the great state of Texas. So unless you're planning on voting this Tuesday, I encourage you to go and cast your vote today if you haven't already. Now, according to one count, 80 million Americans have already voted, and I have no doubt that people on both sides of the aisle are anxiously waiting to find out who's going to lead our nation over the next 4 years. Now, in a normal quadrennial presidential election, we would know the results on the night of the election. And so, best case scenario, we're going to receive the results of this election next Tuesday night. However, because of so many voting irregularities created by the pandemic panic, we might not know until January the 6th, after the Electoral College convenes and Congress tallies those votes and makes the decision official. Until then, all we have are polls. and as most of us know already, that these polls are oftentimes highly unreliable. For example, we only need to look back 4 years when all of the polls pointed to a Clinton-Kaine victory. And while it's true that she won the popular vote, Trump and Pence actually secured the victory with 304 electoral votes over Clinton's 227. Now, with that being the case, we can see that the polls can be incredibly unreliable as a political predictor. Personally, there's one poll that I always look to. It's an excellent political predictor, which hasn't failed since 1984. I'm, of course, referring to the Halloween mask sales at Johnny Brock's Dungeon in St. Louis, Missouri. Now, for the past 30 years, the sales of Halloween masks at Johnny Brock's, these sales have perfectly matched up with the outcome of the presidential elections. So then, what could we learn from all of these years of sales? What can we actually look at the sales of Trump and Biden Halloween masks as an indicator of who's going to win this election? If so, well, then according to the current sales, President Trump is going to win re-election by a landslide. As a matter of fact, Biden masks make up only 34% of their sales, while Trump masks, they make up 66% of the sales. And if this is an indicator, and if this holds true, then what this means is that Trump is going to win re-election. Without debate, the 30-year track record of these mask sales, it's fairly intriguing. And yet at the end of the day, the election is going to come down to the will of the people, which will be revealed by our Electoral College. Sadly, many Americans don't understand why the Electoral College is so important. One reason why is due to the fact that most Americans don't fully grasp the form of government which was created by our founding fathers. I was just looking at one report which reveals this, that over the past 3 years, 87% of Americans say that a democratic political system is a good way of governing the country. And at least 80% of Americans rate the importance of living in a democracy as an 8 or higher on a 10-point scale. Slightly over 3/4 of us say that democracy is preferable to any other kind of government. And the main problem with this is based on the fact that our government, well, it's not a pure democracy as many people believe. No, instead, what we are is a constitutional republic. That's right, we're a constitutional republic. Pure democracy, listen, pure democracy is nothing more than a mob rules form of government. And the fact of the matter is that pure democracy will always devolve into an oligarchy, which is the political oppression which is forced upon the people by a powerful group of a few. Thankfully for us, our founding fathers created a more perfect form of government as they established a constitutional republic, which is based on a government of the people and under the law. In order to keep our country from devolving into a mob rules democracy, America's founding fathers established the Electoral College so that every American in every state, regardless of whether you're part of the majority or the minority, every person will be equally represented by our representatives. Those who oppose the Electoral College, those who want to throw out the Electoral College so that we can have popular vote victories, well, they're attempting to establish a pure form of democracy. And what they're failing to realize is that pure democracy always results in anarchy, and then the anarchy is followed by oppression of an oligarchy. With that being the case, we can rejoice in knowing that the Lord has helped our founding fathers to create a form of government which is equitable for every citizen, even those who are in the minority. Now, in order to further grasp this, I just want to consider something that Jedediah Morse declared. He said this, to the kindly influence of Christianity, we owe that degree of civil freedom and political and social happiness which mankind now enjoys. All efforts made to destroy the foundations of our holy religion ultimately tend to the subversion also of our political freedom and happiness in proportion as the genuine effects of Christianity are diminished in any nation. Morse went on to warn us by declaring, whenever the pillars of Christianity shall be overthrown, our present republican forms of government and the blessings which flow from them must fall with them. Noah Webster also confirmed this by declaring, the Christian religion is the most important and one of the first things in which all children under a free government ought to be instructed. No truth is more evident than that the Christian religion must be the basis of any government intended to secure the rights and privileges of a free people. Now, in light of these truths, I encourage you to go and vote. Go and vote. And as we vote, let's make sure that we vote according to our Christian convictions, which are based upon biblical truth. And let's vote in line with the intentions of our founding fathers. And as we do, let's continue fighting the good fight of faith for the sake of our nation and for the glory of God.